Hello, everyone. Welcome to Voices of the Goddess podcast, where we empower, inspire, and uplift women to become the goddesses they are meant to be. I am Julietta, the magical PT, one of the co-hosts of this show. I am originally from Wisconsin, so I'm a Midwesterner at heart, which just makes me super nice sometimes. But I presently live in Fort Lauderdale, and I have my own physical therapy clinic. I'm a solo practitioner and loving life right now, helping people bring balance into their body, mind, and spirit. And I'm also a part-time artist. I create paintings and jewelry that also heal, because I am a healer. That's what I'm here to do. And I support people on their healing journey. Additionally, through this podcast that I do with my lovely partner here, Allison. Tell everybody about you.
Hello, everybody. It is really good to be here today. My name is Allison Mancini. I'm a holistic nutritionist, and I am also a Midwesterner. Must be why we get along so well. And we're both so nice. Disclaimer, if my husband's listening to that right now, he's laughing. Anyways. I am originally from Michigan, but like Julietta, I have been in South Florida for a very long time. I've been married to my husband almost 28 years. I have 2 adult children, super proud of both of them, a 24-year-old son and a 22-year-old daughter. And my journey really was one of experience. My daughter has some pretty significant health issues all of her life. My son went through some health issues, and I myself personally went through some struggles about 12 years ago. And I learned the hard way that lifestyle and nutrition really makes a very big difference and can really make you well. So that is my passion now, is to help busy moms like me really just be the healthiest that they can without it being super difficult. And because the moms are kind of like, they set the tone for the whole household. So I feel like if the moms are kind of doing the good things for their health, it trickles to their kids and their spouse, their partner, whoever else is in their household. So that is my passion and what I love, aside from doing this podcast with my awesome, beautiful co-host. So
that's so nice of you to say.
Yeah. And so that brings me to this. So we were chatting about this a little bit earlier, that we started this podcast in February. It's almost been over 6 months now, but we started talking about it last summer, like probably July or August, I think, of last year.
I think so.
Yeah, we started talking about it. And prior to that, we all went into the pandemic, which has been life-changing in many ways, good and bad for a lot of people. And one of the things that happened to me was the job that I was doing at that time, that door closed very suddenly because of the pandemic. What I was doing had a lot to do with travel, and travel pretty much came to a screeching halt. So I stopped doing that, and it was a part-time job, but it still was, taking up quite a bit of my time every week. And when that happened, I kind of really floundered. And my initial, when you have that door closed, your initial response is always this kind of freak out moment. Now what am I going to do? Right.
Yep.
But I can look back on it now, and we're talking about this because something else has happened recently that's kind of similar. But looking back on that now, if that door had not closed, I would not have been open to the amazing things that have happened this year. From you and I creating this podcast to me totally transitioning my career, those things I would not have been open to. So I feel like when doors close, like what I'm going through right now, another door closed, and it's good. Like, I'm actually kind of happy that it's closed, and it has nothing to do with the relationship. It was so funny. I put a post on my social media stories, and my husband screenshotted it and texted me. He's like, "Are you trying to say something?" It was about change, don't stay stuck kind of a thing. And I'm like,
right.
Oh, no. Did you see that? I'm like, no. That's nothing to do with you, honey. I go, it's totally work related. He's like, okay, all right.
So funny.
I know, it's not funny. But I'm like, if I had to tell you something, I would just tell you. Trust me, it wouldn't be on social media like that. But it just is interesting to me because this time around, I've kind of been like, okay, that door's closing. Not meant to be doing that. Need to move on, and I'm good with it. And I just feel like maybe part of that is age and maturity. But also, I think it's good to know that doors closing are not bad things. They really aren't. I mean, they may seem like it at the time. And I think we talked about this too for you with the loss of your mom. I thought that was a great example. So, oh.
There's always like, and it's how we choose to look at things.
Yeah.
Everything we do, we have a choice. We don't always have a choice about what happens, but we always have the choice of how we respond to that. Mm-hmm. And I think for myself, as each year passes, the growth that I've done, the work that I've done, it gets easier and easier to make the choice to view things in a positive way.
Yeah.
And, we can always choose to sit there and be, play the victim and this happened to me and da-da-da. Right. Make another choice. And, I truly believe that the universe is conspiring in our favor if we just allow ourselves to have that perspective. And instead of assuming the worst of something, assume the best of it. And what opportunity is this going to place in my life? So.
And I think, first of all, it's definitely when things happen, when tragedies happen and bad things or unexpected things. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say I don't sit there and have my moment of woe is me and sad and cry, whatever that emotion is. I feel all the feels, but I think my ability, I feel my feels, the ability to move forward and move on from there is much quicker than it used to be. And it makes me think, you were just saying, I wrote down something you said from one of our previous interviews, and you had said, trust in the universe. The universe has your back. So I think that's a really good way to look at it, that we need to trust that the universe knows exactly where we need to be, what we need to be doing. And speaking of that, we should probably bring our guest on, but
we should bring our guest on.
He's waiting so patiently. I love it. So sweet. Okay. Are we ready?
Make it happen.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I am very good. How are you guys doing on this beautiful Wednesday?
Great.
We're doing awesome. We're super excited that you're here with us today.
I'm very excited too. Thank you for having me. This is like my first official podcast guest situation.
We're popping a cherry today.
This is awesome though, because so just our listeners and viewers, so that you know, Mimi is good friends with our producer actually. So we're super excited to have her on here. And if you didn't, our producer was actually on our podcast a few months back too. So.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
she didn't tell me that.
Yeah, she's there. She's on.
You have to go back and watch her episode.
Yeah, I will.
So before we get talking too much though, Mimi, please introduce yourself to our audience. Tell them a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay, so my name's Mimi. Well, my name is Maria Angelica, but everyone calls me Mimi. I'm a Colombian born, Spanish raised, Miami person. I no longer live in Miami because like my description says I've been kind of like a digital nomad for the past year, but I was born in Colombia and raised in Spain, currently in Spain right now. So you have a guest from Spain, and I work remotely in content creation, and I also do psychosocial rehabilitation therapy. So I'm a therapist. So two very different ends of the spectrum. And I actually just started working in network marketing, like another venture. So that's very exciting. Hence the Jane of all trades. I do a bunch of different things and keep my life exciting that way.
So where in Spain are you?
Currently, I am in a little town up north in Galicia, and it's called Coruña. My mom moved here earlier this year. I mean, she used to live in Madrid, which is the capital, and now she moved up north, and it's way smaller. So it's like a whole different environment, like right by the beach. It's beautiful.
Wow.
But I had never been here before until yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I got here yesterday from Miami. I'm jet lagged. I'm confused. I don't even know what day it is.
And here you are on our podcast. Good for you. And just let me add that you don't look old enough to be having all of this experience already in your life. So you're beautiful. And I had that for a long time too. I don't quite have it anymore, but I did have a baby face for a long time. And I just have to say that I went to Barcelona 5 years ago and I loved it. So that was my only time in Spain ever. But Julietta, have you been to Spain?
Spain is, oddly enough, one of the places I have not been. And I do have my exchange mom. I was an exchange student in Venezuela back in 1986. And I'm still in contact with my host family. One of my host sisters lives here in South Florida in Plantation. And my host mom my host parents are divorced, and they both are living in Spain now, one near Madrid, and my host mom, I don't even know exactly where she is in Spain, but I get often like, why haven't you come over and visited yet? And so I know I need to get over there. And Spain does call to me. It's just Egypt has called me more in recent years.
Just but do both at the same time.
If you need a travel partner to Spain to visit your host parents, I'm happy to join you.
Awesome.
And then we could go visit Mimi too.
Yeah, you guys should definitely make it a point to make it out to this side of the world. Just do both trips at the same time.
There you go.
You know?
Well, Egypt's already planned. Tickets there and back are already purchased, but I will. I'm a Sagittarius. I am born to travel, and so I will make it there someday, for sure.
Love that.
So we need to start diving into our questions.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So Mimi, please
so where
tell
are we starting?
us, what is your superpower?
Okay, so this was a question that, I thought about the most because I'm not really good at like looking at like what's my own things, So I had a little bit of difficulty coming up with a superpower, even though I know everyone has superpowers, but I wasn't sure like which one would fit me the best. So I asked around for advice for a couple friends and like what they would say about it. And I think that we all came to like a common ground. And I came to the conclusion that my superpower would be my ability to make other people feel comfortable in like the first interaction. So in my 26 years of life, I've noticed that I am pretty good at making like really instant bonds with someone. So I don't need to be like interacting with them for long periods of time or like know them for months in order to feel comfortable around them, and vice versa, and have them open up. So one of my friends actually said that my superpower was my open-mindedness. And I was also thinking that the way that I've lived since I was young, and especially in my last year of being a digital nomad and not really having a plan, is my open-mindedness to just saying yes to things and adapting as things come, which wasn't always the case. I used to be like a huge planner, and everything had to be like very specific, and I had to have like a plan, and I needed to see the way things would work out, which isn't like how it's going to happen. Going back to what Allison was saying at the beginning of the session about like open doors and closed doors, like that, you make a plan and then God laughs, is what my best friend always says. So I think that because I can adapt so much to like different types of people and different environments and different like settings, I am able to give other people like the space to be just as open, because they know that it will be received well. So in conclusion, my superpower is just my ability to hold space for other people.
That's an amazing superpower, and much needed, by the way, because a lot of people don't have that ability.
So I'm very grateful for that, honestly. I don't know why I am the way I am, but I'm very grateful for being that way, because I love when people trust me.
Beautiful.
We get like these amazing young people on our show.
Yeah, and we're grateful for you guys. Sorry, go Julietta.
No, I was just going to say, one of the things I feel really proud of us on our show, like that we have had such a wide variety of, look at Jessica. Love it. But I do love
you're right, Jessica.
The wide variety of people that we've had on the show. And, what was our youngest? 10, 11. And I think our oldest is like in her 80s. And just everything in between, which just really, I mean, every one of them has had such valuable information to share with people. And, you know, all of us have our experience, our stories that will reach out and touch somebody and help somebody heal and help somebody move forward in their life. And it doesn't matter how old you are, you have something to share out there. And I love that we've had this variety on our show.
Me too.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, age is really just a number, and I think that everyone really has something valuable to say if you're willing to listen, and you'll learn from just about anyone.
Agree.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Question number 2. What is your favorite book or a book that has most influenced you?
Okay, so this one was really easy. I actually have it with me. I take it with me on all my trips. You know, it doesn't help my ex's baggage situation. Oh, no way!
No, you're not going to believe this. Juliana was just talking about this book. She just started reading it.
Oh, yeah, wow. It is my favorite book. It's like a Bible to me.
Really?
I swear. Yes. And I take it. I remember, like, I got here yesterday, whatever. I was packing 2 days ago, and I went to, you know, choose what book I wanted to bring with me, which usually are books I haven't read. And I looked at this one and I was like, you know what? I'll figure it out. I don't care if I have to carry more things in my hand, because I don't know how to like lightly pack yet, even though it's been a year of me just traveling. But I just couldn't leave it. I'm going to be here until next year, and there was no way that I was going to be away from this book for like 3 months, because I like to just flip through the pages every now and then, even though I've already read it. I think that it always speaks to me in different ways, and every time I open up the page to like another, like a random chapter, it's very relatable to whatever it is that is going on in that moment. And so very happy that you're reading it. Are you liking it?
I'm loving it. Absolutely. And so as you can see in my name there, like people call me the magical PT. And I was thinking about this when you said, like, you asked your friends. And, you know, a couple of years ago, I was given an assignment of asking my best clients, like, how they would describe what I do as a physical therapist. And magic is the word that came up most regularly. And so then my marketing people have branded me the magical PT. Oh, someone's asking. We held up the book, but we didn't say what it was. And some of us can't, some of our listeners can't see it. So we're talking about the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. And so people like couldn't believe that a book with the magic in the title that I hadn't read. And especially, like, I loved Eat, Pray, Love. I'm like, I wanted to live Eat, Pray, Love, like, you know, just go as a traveler. Yes, I would love to go live in Italy. I would love to go live in India. I would love to go live in Bali. I would love to go live a lot of places. So yes, I am thoroughly enjoying the book. I'm only like on page 64, but if I had the time, I'd probably sit down and read it cover to cover, because it's fun to read. And it is, like you said, like you could pick up and read any chapter and just whatever, because the chapters are short, at least so far in my experience. You know, you can read a chapter in a couple minutes and just experience it. Yeah.
And one thing that I really enjoyed was that the way that she writes the book almost feels like if you're having coffee with her. Like, it's so personal. That she's talking right to you. So it doesn't, because it's not like any other self-help book where they're just teaching you something. Like, it is just, the storytelling is really well done. She's very personable, very relatable. And I guess the time that I read it was very significant too. I read it at the beginning of the pandemic, where I felt like very stuck professionally and in all ways. I mean, I went from like working events and doing all these different things and all these different jobs to then all of my jobs kind of just stopped. It was like right at the beginning of the pandemic, and I was confused, and I had way too much time on my hands, like thinking and overthinking myself into insanity. And so then I started reading this book because I thought it was the right time to evaluate like where am I going to go from here? Like, I knew that I wanted to be more creative myself, and I wanted to work in more creative fields, because up until that point I wasn't. But I also knew that there was so much pressure to making money from whatever you're doing, especially in America. Like, I've had the pleasure of living in different, countries. And in America, there's like this need to just profit out of anything. And obviously that holds you back, because then you start thinking like, I have to do something that's different from what other people are doing, or like, what if I'm not good enough, or what if people hate my art, or what if people hate what I do, or like, how can I do to be innovative, or whatever. And this book, this magical Bible, actually just shows Elizabeth's like process in, writing all these bestseller books. And she just kind of says, like, you just got to write it, and you don't have to appeal to anyone. If they like it, great. If they don't. But you putting all these, requirements in your mind just holds you back from even starting in the first place. And then, like, you don't get anywhere there. And also, like, the confidence in just starting a whole new venue. That's when I started doing more content creation for other people. I didn't know that I was going to work in that, today, if you asked me a year and a half ago. But I just started working and doing what I like doing without any like financial goal in mind. And then eventually I started getting clients. Like, I started getting people recognizing me for my work. And I came to realize that many people could offer the same service and they will still choose you because they love you. It's not about what you do. It's just the way that you carry yourself. And and honestly, to get out of my head, because there's this one quote, it's short, so I'll read it really quick, and it won't ruin anything in the book for you. But but it's about an interaction that she had with some lady, and it said, we all spend our 20s and 30s trying so hard to be perfect because we're so worried about what people will think of us. Then we get into our 40s and 50s, and we finally start to be free because we decide that we don't give a damn what anyone thinks of us. But you won't be completely free until you reach your 60s and 70s, when you finally realize this liberating truth that nobody was ever thinking about you anyway. So that was very like direct and to the point. And I think that after reading this book, I just started doing what I wanted to do without having like a plan in mind. And it just started working out the way that it's supposed to, which goes back to what Allison was saying at the beginning. I had all these closed doors, and without even seeing the doors ahead, like, they just started opening. So I rave about this book.
So I feel like we could just be done right there. Like, there we go. That
Boom.
There you go. That was awesome. Jess, thank you. She's incredible.
Thank you.
But it's so true. We were just talking about this in a previous interview, that it's true. I wish I could go back with the knowledge and the confidence that I have now, because I just turned 50 in January, to go back to where you're at in your 20s. Oh my gosh, I would be like taking over the world or something. Julietta and I would be like forced to be reckoned with. But it's so true. And you know what? And it's also the process. But I'm glad to hear that you're reading this amazing book. You just completely sold me over again on that I need to order it today. And I just think it's so incredible to hear from you saying, and it is probably very true when you hit your 60s and 70s. I mean, I already know that now, that people really aren't thinking about you. But I'm sure when you get there, you're like, yeah, they really like not thinking about you. Like, no one really cares what you're doing, to be honest with you. And whatever. I mean, not
everybody's too worried about themselves.
That's what
everyone's too worried about themselves to even think about what you're doing. And like, we're all just kind of like in the same journey to figuring ourselves out and whatnot.
And the other thing I like that you said, and Julietta and I talk about this a lot with our diversity of our guests, is that you do have something important to say, and you need to not worry about what other people think, because the way you say it is only going to resonate with certain people. And you and I could say the same thing to Susie, and Susie's going to listen to me and be like, mer, 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 like that didn't even make sense. But you, Mimi, are going to say it, and Susie's going to be like, oh my gosh, that totally made sense. Like, So I think it's so important to remember that when you're, whatever it is that you're doing creatively is that, I couldn't even say that, is that you don't worry about what people are going to think of it. Just put it out there because someone needs to hear it. And probably a lot more than just someone. A lot of people probably need to hear it. So I think that's great.
Yeah.
I'm good. Are you friends with Jackie? Here, wait, I got to put this up. She said, I'm getting this book ASAP.
I am. And yes, Jackie, you should definitely get it. I know that it'll definitely help you because she works the same business as I do. So
look at these wonderful people you have. Look at this. Wait, you got to see this and look.
Aww. Thanks. I'm gonna cry now.
For those of you that are listening to this podcast, we're on YouTube Live, and she's got the most viewers I think we've had during an actual YouTube live, and they're all making the sweetest comments, how proud they are, and they love her, and she's a rock star.
I know. I actually haven't even checked my phone because I don't even want to see. Like, I have public speaking fears, so that's why I agreed to do this. Because I needed to get myself out of my comfort zone. And then, but I agreed to do it before you guys went back to doing it live. So, when Jess was like, oh, by the way, we're doing it live again, I was like, you're kidding me.
Just for you.
See, it was just exactly how it was meant to be. The universe has your back.
Supposed to.
Yep.
All right, we need to get moving on these questions. Yeah, so much love for Mimi. I love it. So Mimi, all goddesses need to practice self-care. So what is your favorite self-care practice?
Okay, well, I love my self-care, but she did trick me. My favorite self-care practice are dance parties. I had a dance party before logging on to this because I was like a little nervous. So I knew that if I, get into the groove of dancing, it usually always works. I always have 30-second dance parties. I learned that through Grey's Anatomy. You just dance for 30 seconds. Like, you go all out for 30 seconds and you listen to whatever song is your hype song at the moment. Shake it, twerk, do whatever you need to do in order to get get it out there. So dance parties are my favorite. And
I'm curious, what music were you dancing to before the podcast?
I mean, I don't know if you guys will know, but I was listening to Cubaton, which is a Cuban reggaeton. I don't know why, but that just gets me in a great mood.
Love
it's like my guilty pleasure type of music, and it was just a song that it's about being like good. Like, literally it just says I'm good. Like, living life, doing good, happy type of song. I will send it over to you guys and see if you guys like it.
Yes,
perfect.
You have to.
Yes. I
listened to this song and I can picture her face, but I can't think of who she is. But the song is about how she sings I love me, and like over and over. I'm just gonna drive me nuts now. I'm gonna figure out the song, and I listen to it, and it's got like the best like beat to it, and it's like super like intense, like big and intense. And I'll drive in my car, and I'm like, yeah, that's right. I love me. I'm awesome.
Yeah, it's the power of music. I am definitely an advocate to just losing yourself into the music.
Perfect. That's awesome. All right.
Yeah. So final question,
Julietta.
Yeah.
How do you create accountability in your life, Mimi?
See, that's hard. That one was a tough question. I still don't have a proper answer to give you guys, so I'm going to talk as I go. But I think that the best way that I create accountability in business is, one, I have like one of my best friends. She's someone that I'm very open with in terms of business, and we work together too. So I'm able to ask her like her advice on how I could be better and things I need to work on. So just having that accountability buddy always works in business. And in life, I mean, I genuinely just like to stop, I don't know, a couple times a month and just reflect on things that are working and things that are not working, and like focus on what's not working and do less of it or shift whatever I'm doing and then do more of what is working. It comes with a lot of self-reflection and just being able to like sit in the negative emotions more than anything. Because that's something that I mean, who likes to feel bad? No one. And I am someone that is always happy-go-lucky and being like, you know, the light in the room or whatnot. But I have like my dark moments too. So when I experience those moments, I force myself to sit in them and see like where it's coming from and what I need to do to get myself out of there, right? Because I found that I have realized that life is really just about navigating between the ups and the downs and like not being stuck too long in either of them.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I lost you guys.
No,
we still
No, we're here.
no, we're here. We're here. You were just taking it in. No, because you're.
Oh no, because it froze. So I was like, oh no.
No, you're fine. And you didn't freeze on our end, so
Okay.
it didn't look frozen to us. We'll put it that way. No, and I think you're right. I mean, that's even something as a 50-year-old woman, I'm learning to have those, like you said, negative or down feelings and just being okay with that for a bit and figuring out what I and taking all the tools and experience and knowledge that I have now. And okay, so how do I move forward and move out of that? Because especially right now, and I really appreciated you saying in the beginning of the pandemic how you felt really just, I don't remember the words you used, but it was a lot of people felt that way. I felt that way. And I still have moments where things are very uncertain. I feel like with a lot of things right now in our country, especially, and it's very unsettling. And so I'm kind of letting myself be okay with sitting in that for a minute and just working through it and calling my good friends like Julietta and being like, I need help. And that's accountability. I mean, honestly, if you're looking at it, we have people talk about that all the time. People are accountability to themselves. Yeah. I'm going to be accountable to myself. So.
Yeah. And especially since we live in a world, which I forgot the word right now, but what is it called? When there's so many things happening at the same time.
Chaotic.
Chaos.
It's like chaotic and just hyper stimulate. I don't know. Point is, there's a lot of things going on at a lot of times, like social media. Like there's so many things that are calling our attention right now in business. Like especially if you do, like I work so many different jobs, so like I have to shift brains 1,000 times a day, and then like my social life, being with family, but also being with myself, like exercising. Like there's so many things going on that when that kind of like calms down a bit, you start really like listening to your thoughts and what's going on. And for me, it's like it almost kind of puts me in like panic mode because I'm like, oh God, all these emotions all at once, because I've been so distracted by everything else, like the stimulation. And I tend to typically I tend to like try to drift away from those thoughts, but I have to like actually bring myself back and be like, no, sit with it. Like, what is going on? Like, what needs to happen for you to not feel this way? Because usually, like, it doesn't matter how many times you avoid it, it'll keep coming up, and it'll keep coming up until one day you're like, find yourself exploding in the middle of nowhere, and you're like, where did this come from? Because you've avoided these feelings so much. So I try to just sit in my darkness. So that sounds so dramatic, but like usually I am in the dark because it happened. And I just sit there and I'm like, well, let's sit with these feelings. And then the next day is a brand new day. And then it just becomes like a little bit more easier to manage. And, you know, you're able to like actually focus on what is going on. And from then on, take action.
No, I get what you're saying, because a lot of people try to avoid that and they don't go away if you don't deal with it. You know, one of the things Julietta taught me or has suggested to me that I'm working on is, because I'm very much an empath. I feel a lot of feels. And so that can be really hard and I didn't really realize it until over the last few years. And she made a very good suggestion of just being okay with that feeling and just letting it run through you, like in you and go on out of you, like just let it keep on flowing through and it'll go, you know? So I think, you know, feel the feels, and it's important because if you do ignore them, they're never going to go away.
And they'll come up in worse ways, you know.
Julieta's in deep thought over there. She's thinking something.
Yeah. What are you thinking
I'm
about?
just listening to you all, and it is really so. And we're just going to jump into takeaways because this is what I'm thinking and processing right now. Is that I do tend to be in the positive a lot, and part of that is that I have worked through the negatives and they don't impact me in the ways that they used to. So it's not, they're not as present as much. But so I'm sitting here in this space like, yeah, sometimes I might be ignoring them, and because emotions they just want to be acknowledged. They want to be recognized and acknowledged, and it doesn't mean you have to let them overwhelm you. But my takeaway is like to allow myself the luxury of sitting in those emotions that might be labeled as negative. And we know from all of our conversations with God reading that there is no positive, negative. There is no good or bad. It just is what it is. And so instead of trying to ignore, move away from anything that we label as bad or negative, like give it the it exists. It's there too. So give it its recognition and acknowledge it, thank it, and then move on to what you want next. So
yeah, that's exactly it. And in the positives too. I mean, a lot of people don't enjoy the positives. Like, they're just like, what's next? Like they achieve something and it's like great, and then what's next? And then they just get stuck into this loophole of what's next, and then not really enjoying like, okay, I got here now, and this is what I wanted, and I need to like sit in it and enjoy it.
Absolutely.
You have such nice friends. They're so supportive.
Thanks. They are. Okay, am I going to be able to see those comments after? Because obviously I can't see them on this end.
Yes, you'll see them.
But yeah. So,
well, my takeaway would be that apparently I need to read Big Magic, because
you do.
I just had a 26-year-old tell me how amazing it was. And not that I didn't believe my 50-something friend next time, but
we could make that next month's book club book.
You know what? And
yes, I will be there.
Lane and I had talked about we need to make the next book club book a little bit lighter. This has been tough.
Let's do. Well, you've heard it here first, people.
Big Magic.
October is Big Magic.
Sweet.
Yes.
Thanks for that, Mimi.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'll be there.
What is your takeaway, Mimi?
My takeaway from this experience is to do things scared. I mean, I was actually really nervous about it because, I have a fear of public speaking and all these things, but those are all just thoughts that come up in my head, which are the reasons why I do the things I do, because, in order to get over it, you got to go through it. I actually just had a call about fear right before this. So it seems to be a very common topic today on this Wednesday. So I actually didn't know that I was going to be able to provide much value to you guys, since you guys are like older than me and more experienced. So I was like, what could I even like say? Like I was telling Jess, like, sure, I'll do it, but what could I say? And I actually texted her before this and I go, I'm nervous. And she goes, yeah. And I'm like, okay, thanks.
So our audience that's listening, or if you're viewing this is exactly what Julieta and I always say. You, all of our guests, you included, Mimi, have something to say. It doesn't matter your life, your stage of life, your age, you have something to say. And this young woman, beautiful, has made an impact on Julieta and I today. And I hope all of our audience. So I would say, don't ever think that. And you know what? You felt the fear. You got to ask Julieta what she calls it when she does things that scare her. What do you call it, Julieta?
I strive to find those things that make my butt pucker, Because like that's just like the universe saying, here is your challenge. If the butt is puckering, it's time to go through it. And I'm sure you know, because I also have gone through gratitude. That's how we found Jess. And her part 2 buddy is one of my dear, dear friends. And so I have to say, like, and I've actually been thinking about this recently, that I haven't found something new recent that, because I almost, it's like you get addicted to doing those things that like challenge you and that you're afraid to do. And you know, I'm like, I'm craving it again, because I've, you know, everything that's been put in front of me, I'm just like, okay, let's do it. And I'm looking for that new butt pucker. What is it going to be? What am I going to challenge myself to?
I got you. I got one for you. You ready?
I don't know. Am I?
You and I are going to go tubing off the back of the boat next time you come to the lake.
That's a butt pucker. I'll do that. Just remind me.
Okay, go skydiving then. That'll make your butt pucker.
I love skydiving. I've gone 3 times.
Oh my gosh,
and it is a beautiful experience.
Oh, I just can't.
Or shark diving, everything.
Oh my gosh. All right, when you come back to Miami, Mimi, we're gonna have to hang out. We gotta go out and have dinner and drinks. The 3 of us and Jess, all 4 of us will go out.
And skydiving.
I'll join you for the drinks.
Maybe.
Okay. We'll see. We'll talk about it.
All right.
Awesome.
All right. Well, this has been awesome. Julietta, you want to go wrap it up?
This has been a lot of fun. And I want to thank you again, Mimi, for joining us. It has been wonderful having you here. And I want to thank all of our listeners and all the cajillion of Mimi's friends who've joined in and listened to us today. And if you've enjoyed what you've heard, please subscribe to our channel, like us, share us, follow us, all that good stuff. And the information that we talked about in the show will be available in the show notes, so you can get a hold of Mimi or either of us if you like. And
subscribe to our podcast too.
Yes, subscribe to the podcast.
Yeah.
Yes. We love our subscribers. So, all right.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you for
Was that your mom?
Yeah, she's in the living room.
Oh, she's so sweet.
Love it.
You guys. So sweet.
Thank you.
All right.
Anyway, thanks, guys. Hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
You too.
Have a magical day.
Bye.
Bye.